Good morning and welcome to Fast Horses Today. Today is Saturday. It is January 25th, and we've got some big racing around the country, including the big racing over at Gulfstream Park. They've got their Pegasus World Cup Day, and some nice races put together there. I'm going to play a couple tickets today. I'm going to play a coast-to-coast pick 5, which will include those big races over at Gulfstream, in addition to a couple races from Santa Anita, which I really do like. So it fits pretty nicely here in my handicapping, and I'm going to make a coast-to-coast pick 5, as well as a late pick 5 over at Santa Anita. So let's get started with the coast-to-coast pick 5, which starts out with the 11th race at Gulfstream. And the 11th race has approximate post time about 3:20 here Central Time, so 1:20 there Eastern Time. And the 11th race is the Inside Information, and that is a 7-furlong dirt race. There's quite a few scratches in this race. The 1 is scratched, the 2 is scratched, the 3 is scratched, and the 5 is scratched. So that's quite a few scratches there. So taking in consideration those scratches, I'm going to put 4 horses in to try to get this pick 5, this coast-to-coast pick 5 started. I'm going to put the 6, Jody's Pride, for Jorge Abreu and Luis Saez. This horse, has run in some nice races, as they all have. I mean, the Inside Information is usually a pretty nice race there every year at Gulfstream. So I'm going to put Luis Saez here at 8-1. This horse, does show a stalking type of trip. We'll see if that might be good enough here. I just didn't want to boil this down to the favorite and go from there. So I'm going to put Jody's Pride. I am going to put the favorite, who is Mystic Lake, for Safi Joseph and Irad Ortiz at 2-1. This horse has a nice record at 7 furlongs, has also won at Gulfstream as well. So, she merits being the favorite. She's 2-1. Comes off a very nice win in the Sugar Swirl over at Gulfstream at 6. But, as I mentioned, she has a nice record at 7 furlongs, winning 3 out of 4 starts there with a second. So we'll put Mystic Lake in there. She certainly figures. Going to put the 8 horse, who was Olivia Darling, for Jorge Delgado, and Egan rides there. I know a couple of the European jockeys show up to Gulfstream. Egan and Oisin Murphy both ride there, it seems like, in the wintertime, and they end up doing pretty well on both dirt and turf. So Olivia Darling is 4-1. She shows a very nice record at Gulfstream, having 3 wins out of 6 starts. Also has done well at 7 furlongs with a couple wins there out of 8 starts. She's run with the best, female sprinters over there in Gulfstream over the years. She's a defending champ. She won the Inside Information last year. So 4-1, we'll put Olivia Darling in there. And then finally, we'll put the 9 horse, was Emery, for Brad Cox and Tyler Gaffleone. This horse has not run at Gulfstream, but she's certainly shown up well. She ran in the better 3-year-old filly races last year, having competed in the test and the Raven Run, and coming second in the Grade 1 test at Saratoga, and winning the Raven Run, which is a Grade 2 at Keeneland, certainly puts her in. And then she does also have a win over Mystic Lake. So we'll have the 6, 7, 8, and 9 to start off the coast-to-coast pick 5. Let's move over to the next race in this sequence. Is the 12th race at Gulfstream, 1.125 on the turf, and this is the Pegasus World Cup turf edition. So they've got their Pegasus World Cup, and they also have a turf invitational. So it's a $1 million race, and this is a Grade 1. So this is a big race. A couple scratches here, the 1 being scratched, and I'm going to put. I don't have a big opinion on this race, so I'm going to put several horses in to get this started, because I do have a couple singles later. So I'm going to put the 4, Win for the Money, for Mark Cassidy and Dylan Davis. This horse, we last saw it in Fort Lauderdale back about a month or so ago. He was the favorite that day. Ended up finishing 3rd to a couple of the runners in here, Major Dude and Fort Washington, which we'll talk about those momentarily. Win for the Money is a Grade 1 winner. 12-1, we'll put Win for the Money in here with Dylan Davis. He's been riding well over there. I'm going to put the 5 horse, was Integration, for Claude McGahee, Frankie Dettori. I think Dettori's got some nice live ones today at Gulfstream, so we'll see what Frankie could do with those. He's got this one here, Integration, at 3-1. This horse, certainly has run with, some of the bigger turf runners out there in the East and in the South. Having run with Nation's Pride, running second in Nation's Pride. We're going to get to that horse momentarily. He's in this race. integration has certainly, knocked heads with some of the better horses in Grade 1 competition and run well. We'll give this horse a shot, certainly with Frankie Dettori. Going to put the 6 in, who is Major Dude for Todd Pletcher and Irad Ortiz. Major Dude comes out of the Fort Lauderdale off a win, so he ended up beating, Win for the Money, beat Fort Washington. He's 6-1 today. I don't know that we'll see 6-1, but we'll put Major Dude in here. We're going to put the 7, who is Nation's Pride. This is the favorite for Charlie Appleby and Godolphin. William Buick shows up to ride. So William Buick going to get a little sunshine there in the Miami area, coming from Europe. Now, this horse is certainly a world traveler. He's running Germany. He's running the Emirates. He's running Bahrain, running Canada. Certainly has run in a few different places here in the States. So, this horse is a world traveler, has gotten it done in many different places. We haven't seen this horse since the last time. Well, I didn't actually see it. There was the Bahrain International race, which was back in before Thanksgiving. This horse, was an also ran that day. But, he's come off a bit of a vacation since then. And, this horse has certainly shown up after layoffs and run well. So we'll put this horse in for the Godolphin stables. That's the 7, Nation's Pride. And then finally, we'll put the 9 horse, who was Belnikov. Belnikov for Phil D'Amato. Phil D'Amato ships this horse in, from California. O'Sheen Murphy takes the call. So I think O'Sheen Murphy will fit this horse really nicely. This horse really runs with a good closing kick. That's how he's won his races, around the country. He's 15-1 here, but this race, if they could, cook it up a little bit early, a horse like Balnikov could come running for Phil D'Amato and O'Sheen Murphy at 15-1. So we've got the 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 in the Pegasus World Cup Turf Invitational. Let's move over to the next race of this coast-to-coast sequence. It's the 5th race over at Santa Anita. 6 furlongs on the flat grass. This is a first-level allowance race. This has an approximate post time about 4 o'clock Central, so 2 o'clock there in the Pacific time zone. I'm going to single a horse here and just move on. I'm going to go with Noble Reflection. Noble Reflection being the 4 horse for George Papadromo. Giovanni Franco takes the call. Now, this horse has been, at times, one of the better turf sprinters in the country. So, he's gotten it done at different tracks, different configurations. Last time we saw him, he ran down the hill and just blazed that day in a first level allowance race. So this horse, the reason he qualifies for this, because George is putting him in for a $50,000 claim. I guess they're just figuring 7-year-old, you want to claim this horse for 50, you come on and do it. Otherwise we can run here. So I just feel like this horse, being the program favorite, I think he's 8-5. And the program is probably just too good for these guys, especially off that last race. So this horse, he's shown a really nice record at Santa Anita, winning 4 turf starts, in 8 tries with a second and a third. So he certainly likes the surroundings there in Arcadia, certainly likes to sprint, and, does have a win at 6 furlongs on the flat out of 3 starts. So this horse just seems to, have these guys over a barrel. We'll put him as a single. All right, let's move over to the next race. Next race, we're back at Gulfstream, and this is for the big one. This is the one that everyone's been waiting for. The Pegasus World Cup Invitational, the $3 million race, the Grade 1 at 1 1/8 on the dirt. And this is the 13th race at Gulfstream Park. I'm going to put 2 horses in here and, hopefully have this situated and move on to the last one. I'm going to put the 1, who is Mixto, for Doug O'Neill. Now, Doug O'Neill ships this horse over from California, and, this horse has not run anywhere but California, but, puts Dettori on the horse. This horse's big win was last year in the Pacific Classic. Ended up running a big race, at a price, but, he got it done in kind of, front-running fashion, which I do like that type of running style at Gulfstream Park. It seems to fit very well, especially at 1 1/8. We see these races, whether it's the Florida Derby or other big races, the World Cup, where horses, just kind of run close to the lead, and it really seems to be hard to make up many lengths at the Gulfstream Park main oval. So I like this horse's running style. As I mentioned, he does have that Grade 1 Pacific Classic win. He's had 2 starts subsequently to that, ran in the Breeders' Cup Classic, and, ran towards the lead in a very hot pace and just kind of folded up. I will excuse him for that. And ended up running a nice race in the Native Diver, which is a 1 1/8 race, ended up coming 3rd in that race. So I think Dettori moves this horse up. Mixto should be in a good spot. I like him today. Also going to put the 4 horse, who was White Abario. Now, White Abario, we all know him from years past. He's the 3-1 in this race. White Barrio's done a whole lot of good. He's the Breeders' Cup winner back in 23 at Santa Anita. He ended up running a big race that day, getting it done in the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Classic. After that, they took the horse out to Saudi Arabia for the Saudi Crown, or Saudi Cup there. He didn't do much there. We'll forgive him for that. Came back to, in a tough spot in the Met Mile. Met Mile is always one of the biggest races in the United States throughout the year, and that was his comeback race. So, he just kind of ran an even race there too. But let's focus in on his last two races. His last two races he ran, both 7 furlong efforts at Gulfstream, and I really think those were just tune-ups to get him ready for this. So he ran a 7 furlong allowance race. It was like 10 cents, 20 cents to the dollar, and blew out a field. That's a nice tune-up race. And they put him in the Mr. Prospector, where he was a big favorite that day. Ended up coming second off a poor start. Certainly, poor starts happen to all horses, and it did happen to White Barrio. But the reason I like that race, even though he did lose to Mufasa, he ended up coming second. He showed a good account of himself after a poor start, showed his class, ended up running on well for second. And, let's face it, I feel like White Barrio, he's not a 7 furlong horse. He's more of a 2-turn horse. So, he fits very well here. I think those 2 7 furlong races will be, really nice tune-ups. Keep him up close in this 1.8 and White Barrio will be very tough here in this Pegasus Invitational. He's 3-1, and he's got an Irad Ortiz on him, who's been riding him the last many mounts here. So we've got the 1 and 4 in the Pegasus World Cup. All right, let's go to the final race of this Coast to Coast Pick 5, which happens at Santa Anita. It's the 10th race of the day there at Santa Anita. This is a 1.8 first level allowance, a 1.8 on the grass. So these are fillies and mares 4 years old and up. And I got a single here that I really like. And when we talk about Santa Anita in a few, I'm going to talk more about this horse. But this is Strutting. This is the 2 horse from Michael McCarthy. Ricardo Gonzalez on the horse. She's 9-2 today. This is a single for me, and this is going to be a win bet. I really like this horse today. I think she fits so well today in this 1.8 race, coming off her 2 prior efforts here in the States. Now, she had been running out there in Europe, in Great Britain, and making a good account of herself. But they showed her, they brought her over to the States. She ran her first time in late November over at Del Mar, and she ended up coming second to a horse named Sariha. Now, Sariha won that race, and Sariha came back and really blew out a field at Santa Anita a few weeks back. So that was a nice horse that she ran up against, and she really made a good account of herself. Now, she was pretty far back that day, which I don't know if that was the plan or that was just how horses run off when they come off the boat, but horse ran really nicely there. They thought enough of her to put her in the Grade 1 American Oaks at Santa Anita on opening day there. And, there was no way she was beating She Feels Pretty, and so we're never going to fault a horse's losing to She Feels Pretty. He's just completely outstanding. I thought Strutting ran a nice even race. She was up close and got herself in a little bit of trouble, but I don't feel the trouble really would have altered her finish. But she just ran a nice race in a Grade 1. She's coming down in class. 1.8 should be no problem for her. Strutting is a single here in this Coast to Coast Pick 5. Okay, now let's move over to Santa Anita. Santa Anita, going to play the late Pick 5 there at Santa Anita, which starts in the 6th race. And 6th race has approximate post time of 4:30 here Central Time, so 2:30 there on the West Coast. This is a 6 furlong dirt sprint. These are for starter allowance horses. These are some of the conditions they're doing to cater to the Northern California horses shipping down. So this is a starter allowance, horses who have started for 8,000 or less in the past year or so. Or if you want to put your horse in for 10,000, you'll qualify that way. I've got 3 horses to get this started off here in this Pick 5. I'm going to go with the 2 horse Halo Rando for Dean Pedersen. Now, Dean Pedersen, I know we've talked about him before. He's doing everything right there. He has 9 starts with 5 wins and 2/3, so he's pushing all the right buttons. This horse is 8-5. Comes out of a blowout win in this same type of level here. So, these horses are cheap, so they don't always run back to what they did before, but it looks like this horse is in good shape. We'll definitely put this horse in. He warrants the 8-5 favoritism. So we'll put Halo Rando. We're also going to put the 3 horses Tesoro for Steve Knapp, and Steve Knapp puts Escobedo on the horse, which I like that. Escobedo's shown some nice rides. So we got a couple changes. Change in trainer with Knapp off the claim. Knapp puts blinkers on and puts Escobedo. So I'm thinking he's wanting more speed out of this horse. Now this horse certainly has run with better. And, Knapp like this horse enough to claim him out of this type of level race. So he's putting him back in, putting him in for 10. Has a nice work since he last got this horse. And 6-1. So we'll put Tesoro in. Maybe he reaches into his back class to win this one here. And then finally, I'm going to put a long shot in here for Jesus Nunez and Giovanni Franco. We'll put Lessons of Autism. Lessons of Autism comes out of a couple 1,000-yard sprints over at Los Al, and he won those races fairly easily. And this horse is 20-1 today. I don't think we'll see 20-1. We'll see if Giovanni Franco can get this horse going. This horse has shown some nice races back at Golden Gate with a little bit better horses, and I think that's important because these races are for those Northern California horses. This horse didn't seem like a hopeless long shot to me, so we'll put Lessons of Autism in for Jesus Nunez and Franco. So we got the 2-3-4 to start out this pick 5. All right, let's move over to the next race of the day. Next race being the 7th race. This is a 6-furlong grass sprint, so this is the flat grass there at Santa Anita. This is a condition claimer. So these are $25,000 claimers who haven't won 2 starts in their lifetime. So this is, your bottom rung there in Southern California for turf starters. Tough race. I don't have a big opinion here. So I've got several here. I think a lot of these horses are evenly matched. So it can end up being a jocks race. And, we talked about this yesterday. All the big jocks are gone today. So, these other, jocks who haven't gotten as much of a chance get a chance to win races. But, sometimes we see them making mistakes. Sometimes, they can get horses in. So we've got 5 horses here. Like I said, I don't have a strong opinion. A lot of evenly matched horses. So trips could mean everything. Good ride, bad ride could mean everything. We'll put the 3, 'Tis a Good Thing, for Carla Gaines. This horse shows a nice race in this level with Ricardo Gonzalez, who gets the horse today. He's 4-1. We'll see if that horse holds up at 4-1. Coming off a nose beat in the same type of level, should certainly put this horse in the running here. We'll put the 4-horse Granetian 7-6 for Luis Mendez Escobedo on a horse. Now, this horse is coming off a pretty long layoff, about a 13-month layoff. This horse had been running in sprint races. Obviously something happened. We haven't seen this horse since December of 23. But, if anyone can get a horse off a long layoff and fresh, it would be Luis Mendez. And you know what? It could be a type of thing where this horse gets out and goes at 50-1 and, disappoints a lot of folks that don't have him. So we'll put Granetian 7-6 at 15-1. We're also going to put the 5-horse was Naismith for Bob Hess and Kent Desormeaux. Now, Kent Desormeaux, hey, this is your chance to win a couple races, man. You got a lot of people off there. And, let's see it, Kent. Let's see, we know you could ride. Let's see those stylish rides. Maybe today would be the day at 5-1. Certainly Naismith has run in these type of levels and run some even races. So as I mentioned, this might be a race where, the riders make a difference. The trip makes a difference. 5-1, we'll put Naismith. We're also going to put the 8-horse. 8-horse being every day is a Saturday. Today's a Saturday, so it could be a nice hunch play. Tim McCanna. Raylu Gutierrez shows up to California today, and I'm not exactly sure where Raylu's riding regularly, but, probably just his agent sent him over to California because he gets some chances there today to ride in a depleted jocks colony. So 10-1 on every day is a Saturday. This horse has been running up north, so they're bringing this horse down south. First, this horse does have 1 start on the turf, and had run at Santa Anita last time in late December. Just kind of ran an even race or so. We'll see if that can improve the horse. And then finally, we're going to put the 9-horse was 49er Gold for John Sadler and Abel Lascano. Now, it looks like the Sadler barn has heated up a little bit lately with a couple wins this week, and Lascano has also won with a couple too. So, maybe we'll see a nice pairing here. I know they won before a couple days ago. 49er Gold is 7-2 in the program. Has run a couple nice even races in this same level. As I mentioned, Lascano seems to riding a little bit better lately, and the Sadler horses are showing up. So this horse would make a whole lot of sense. So we've got the 3, 4, 5, 8, and 9. Let's move over to the next race of the day, being the 8th race. This is the San Pasqual. This is the feature race over at Santa Anita today. $200,000, grade 2. It's a 1.125 miles. And I've got 2 horses here I'm going to put in. I do like the 5-horse Imagination for Bob Baffert. Now, this horse was running in the 3-year-old stakes last year, on the Derby Trail. And, ended up running in the Preakness, didn't do much there, and put the horse in the grade 1 Woody Stevens. This horse has been running in some nice races, ended up losing the Santa Anita Derby right on the wire last year. So, certainly this horse has quality. Showed up nice in his last race in the grade 1 Malibu, ran up against Raging Torrent and Stronghold, and showed, made a nice account of himself. So 8-5. Diego Herrera gets the call for Bob Baffert today. So, it's a nice opportunity for Diego Herrera as well. I don't know that he's ridden a whole lot for Bob Baffert in his career. I can't recall. So, certainly I'm sure he'd like to, show up well here, and that could really open up some opportunities for Diego Herrera, a young rider, if he can get into the Baffert barn. So Imagination looks tough today at 8-5. And then as a long shot, I'm going to put the 6 American Admiral for Tim Yakteen and Raylu Gutierrez. Now this horse, if you followed California racing, Southern California racing, you've seen this horse running over the last couple years. He was a big purchase price, at $1.3 million. Didn't live up to that, but this horse, if you see him in the paddock and see him on the track, this horse is just a giant. I mean, I could see why they probably loved this horse in the auction. He looked beautiful and ended up, netting a big purchase price. He's a big horse, lanky horse, and I think the thing with him is you can't stop and start a guy like that. You just got to keep him in the clear, and his guy will come running for you. I like his last race in the Lafitte Pincay race. He ended up running a nice race. Kimura was on him that day. He was a long shot that day, and he came running at the end. And that track really wasn't allowing a whole lot of closers. It seemed like the speed was doing pretty well on opening day. So I thought he ran nicely. Raylu Gutierrez should fit this horse well. Get him in the clear. If this horse gets a straight line in the stretch, you could see him come running at 1 1/8. So we're going to put the 5 and the 6 here with Imagination and American Admiral. All right, let's go to the 9th race of the day. 9th race is 6.5 furlong dirt race. These are maiden claimers, 20,000. So these are your bottom rung maiden claimers. We're just looking. I'm going to go against a favorite here. I know Bob Baffert drops a horse in for this 20,000 claim. The 3-horse True Hood is a $700,000 purchase. We haven't seen this horse since May of 23. Now they're putting him in for 20. I'm taking a stand. I'm going to throw him out. We'll see. I just don't see this horse doing much today. My feeling is if this horse is training great, he wouldn't be here. They know that this horse, has probably been a punching bag for some of the other Baffert horses there in training hours, and, they're putting him in here. So I'm going to say no thanks. I am going to put the 5, Mr. Mustache, for Jeff Mullins. Edwin Maldonado on the horse. This horse comes off a big drop as well. We last saw him in late December. Ended up running in a maiden special weight there. I thought he ran a good enough race where it could have set him up for this lower level race. He's 8-1. Expect this horse to run better than he did last time. We're going to put the 7 horse, Silver and Black, Bob Hess, Kent DeSormo. These guys have another horse earlier today. This kind of horse, this horse had some action back at Del Mar in some special weight races where he was bet on. He was a favorite. DeSormo did ride him. This could be a graduation day for a horse like this at 6-1, shortening up to 6.5 furlongs. So we'll put Silver and Black in there. We're going to also put the 9 Billy Joe Shaver for Steve Miotti. This is a Calbred, had been running in special weights. He did run a maiden 20,000 last time out at Del Mar back in the summer. He's getting a bit of a layoff. I think maybe the layoff might do this horse some good. He's 4-1. Billy Anton Georgi on the horse. Anton Georgi certainly has won his share of races in Southern California. He ran out there in Southern California for years before he did go make the trek up north. So we'll put that horse in at 4-1. And then finally we'll put the 10 horse who was Artist Point for Jeff Bondi. Aguilar takes the call. This is another Calbred. This horse had been running in $50,000 Calbred races, so he drops into 20. This type of horse where I know I've been on this horse a couple times and he's disappointed me. I think this horse does have some ability. Maybe the outside post might help him. He was stuck on the rail in several races. I don't know if that was helpful to him. Maybe the outside post and a 6.5 furlong sprint, could help this horse. He might come running for Jeff Bondi. So we've got the 5, 7, 9, and 10. All right, now let's go to the last race of the day. The last race being the 10th race at Santa Anita. We talked a little bit about this when we talked about the Coast to Coast Pick 5, but this is the last race of the day for the Santa Anita's late Pick 5. 1 1/8 on the grass, first level allowance horses, and I do like Strutting. Strutting being the 2-horse, 9-2 in the program for Michael McCarthy. Ricardo Gonzalez on the horse. You know, I mentioned in the Coast to Coast why I like this horse. I think she's run really well in her 2 starts here. Ran up against Sarija, and she feels pretty. None of those horses here today. I think Ricardo Gonzalez should work out a great trip here. And, you know, Gonzalez is also the kind of guy, when he gets some chances, he does win with them, you know, and today's a chance. He doesn't have these other big guys to compete with today. 9-2, this horse very live. All right, now let's recap the day and recap the tickets. Okay, so we've got a long day here today. We've got a coast-to-coast pick 5, which is Gulfstream and Santa Anita. So in the first leg of the coast-to-coast pick 5, we've got the 6, 7, 8, 9 with 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 with the 4, with the 1-4, with the single of the 2. That's a $40 ticket there in the Coast to Coast Pick 5. Let's move over to Santa Anita. And Santa Anita starts their late Pick 5 in the 6th race. We've got the 2, 3, 4 with the 3, 4, 5, 8, 9 with the 5, 6 with the 5, 7, 9, 10 with the single of the 2 Strutting. We've got a win bet on Strutting in the last race at Santa Anita. That Pick 5 cost $60 today. So as always, if you see fit, you play as is. If you'd like to add or subtract, you do what's right for you. If you feel like playing the pick 3s within this or play the pick 4 within it, you do what you need to do, or if you simply want to make the win bet. I wish you the best of luck. Let's wish the folks over at Gulfstream and Santa Anita a great safe day of racing. Let's wish the folks over at Southern California blessed days ahead, and well wishes for all the folks dealing with the wildfires there in Southern California. So as always, I thank you so much for watching Fast Horses today. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, make comments, like, dislike. I promise to respond to everybody. Let's make it a great day at Gulfstream and Santa Anita today. Best of luck.